Hello, welcome back. So, I received a really great message from Lucas, and he has more of like a concern than a question, but it does kind of lead into a question. But it's about the TOEFL exam. And his concern is that the TOEFL exam is so overwhelming, which means, wow, I'm stressed out. I don't know where to start. And he doesn't know where to start. It's overwhelming, so much preparing to do. So he's concerned about where to start. And honestly, Lucas isn't the only one. It's common, it's normal to feel this way about the TOEFL. And it is so overwhelming and stressful. You don't know where to start. That's okay. So I'm going to give you a tip on where I think you should start. But again, everybody is different. They learn differently. You're going to hear other things from other people on where to start. Everybody has their own opinion, but you have to decide what works best for you. So what I always recommend, start with the vocabulary words, because if you start practicing those vocabulary words, you're actually multitasking if you think about it, which means you're killing two birds with a stone. That's a popular expression here in the United States. That means you're doing as many things at once, type of thing. I could go on and on explaining it, but hopefully you get my drift, my point here. And so when you're studying these vocabulary words, you're actually studying for writing, speaking, reading. You're getting it all in one. And also for your personal life, because you're learning these words. What I highly, highly recommend is that you do not memorize them. Because if you strictly just memorize bam, 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 bam every day, you're not going to know how to use them in conversation. You're not going to know how to write an essay with them. If you see them in a reading material, you're not going to get it. So it's really, really imperative. Imperative is another word for important, that you practice how to use them. Now, when you're learning how to do these words, and we're not memorizing, make sure you know how to use them in a conversation. Practice them with your family, practice them with coworkers, practice them with friends or people at the supermarket. Also, there's a writing portion of the exam. Each day you want to get into the habit of writing so you can practice writing. Start putting those words into your writing each day. Write a paragraph a day about one of the words that you're working on. So that way you are learning how to use it in writing and also speaking about it. All right, too much talking, so let's get started. So this is going to be on the TOEFL preparation. It's going to be several videos over a course of time. I'm starting here with the vocabulary because I think that's a great place to start. These are some of the words you will see on the TOEFL. They're the most common words. Keep in mind, there are more, but I'm starting with these. All right, let's get started. All right. What is our first word? Abundant. Abundant. So this means more than enough, plentiful. So plentiful is another way to say more than enough. And an example would be the rainforest is home to an abundant wildlife. And it means, wow, rainforest has a lot of wildlife, a lot of animals there. So abundant, we have more than enough. All right. And maybe there's something in your life. Sometimes when we collect things like, holy cow, I have a lot of Disney, an abundant amount of Disney because I'm a huge Disney fan. In fact, I have Mickey Mouse right here. So all throughout my house, Disney, or look behind me, I have elephants, an abundant amount of pictures of African wildlife. So as you think about this word, look around you. Do you have a lot of something? Then you have an abundant amount of that. So abundant. That's our first word. Let's go to the second one. Accumulate. Accumulate. This is where we gather and collect stuff over time. So I accumulate Disney stuff because obviously I'm not going to get all of that over the weekend. That's too much. All of my pictures of the African wildlife I have accumulated over the years. So again, accumulate. I have an abundant amount of pictures with wildlife that I have accumulated over the years. So an example sentence that we have as well, over the years, he managed to accumulate a large collection of books. And maybe that's some of you. Maybe you love to read and you buy books and you've accumulated so much, you've got a library at your house. All right. Adverse, unfavorable, harmful. The flight was canceled due to adverse weather conditions, meaning it was too bad to fly. Maybe there was thunderstorms. Maybe it snowed a lot. Don't know, but we know it was bad. The flight was canceled due to adverse, bad weather conditions. Another example would be if you take medication and you have an adverse reaction, meaning something bad happened. So maybe you took some antibiotics and you can't breathe. That's an adverse reaction. So anytime something is not good or it's harmful, adverse reaction, adverse to something, adverse weather is happening, can't go to the park, I can't take that medication, I have adverse reaction. So not good. Negative word there. Beneficial. This is a good word. We're producing something awesome and it gives you such helpful results. So for example, regular exercise is beneficial to your health. Drinking water is beneficial to your health. It's good for you. Preparing for the TOEFL exam is beneficial for you. So anything that is good is beneficial. All right. Coherent. When someone is logical, they make sense, consistent. Think about it this way. You know, during election time, and you have a lot of politicians debating, they're arguing each other. Sometimes you look at a politician and think, he doesn't make sense. He's not logical. He is incoherent. That's the opposite of coherent. So the one that doesn't make sense, he's incoherent. Oh, but this guy right here, I like him. He makes sense. He is coherent. So when someone makes sense to you or something, coherent. Incoherent would be the opposite. I know I don't have incoherent here, but I just wanted to briefly throw that in there. And so incoherent would just be IN and then the rest of that word coherent that you see. So we have an example. She presented a coherent argument during the debate. She made sense. Okay, I totally get that. Yeah, you've got the facts, you make sense, you are coherent. Sometimes when we see somebody and we think, wow, they're really out of it. Are they coherent? Are they clear? Are they making sense? Or are they incoherent? So sometimes it can be a medical thing too. All right, let's go on to the next one. Convey. We are communicating something or making something known. Now, I want to point out this can be something verbal that comes out of our mouth, or this can be a facial expression. So, for example, he used gestures to convey his message. So maybe he went like that. By doing that, we know he's kind of threatening and he's angry. So that's like nonverbal. We're not speaking. But if I say, I need to convey some information to you about your flight, I am letting you know I have to tell you some information. I have to communicate to you. So I can either say, I am going to convey to you that it is very, very beneficial to you to study vocabulary words for the preparation of the TOEFL. Now, that's a way to use it when I'm verbally communicating. I want to give you another example of nonverbal because my mom used to do this to me. When I would get into trouble oh, her eyes would get squinty and she'd give me that look. She was conveying to me that, ooh, I was in so much trouble. So maybe your mother did that to you where you knew, uh-oh, my mother's giving me that look. She's conveying to me, I'm in so much trouble. I better run. So convey, we want to make something known. Depict. So sometimes we see something. Well, let me go ahead and read the example sentence and I'll go from there. The mural depicts scenes from local history. So what it's basically saying is the mural like a picture, it's showing something from history. It's representing something. So anytime maybe you paint something, you write something, maybe you give a speech and you want to represent something or show something, you're depicting that. So maybe I want to give a speech and I want to depict something from my childhood when I won a trophy playing softball or something like that. So when we want to represent or show something, whether in a picture, a story, I want to depict something. So the mural depicts scenes from local history. All right. What do we have next? We have emerge. To come into view or become known. So the example sentence, this always happens, by the way. New problems began to emerge after the software updates. Doesn't that seem like that always happens every time there's an update, whether for me it's personal computer or maybe it's something with your company? I just feel like problems arise. Or every time there's an update with, I don't know, Apple or something, new problems begin to emerge. So it comes into view, it becomes known. So, wow, if I took a new medication I had never taken before and I had an adverse reaction, I broke out into hives, which are red like bumps and they're itchy. I take that antibiotic, I have an adverse reaction, new problems emerge from me. There you go. See, I can throw all these words into one sentence for you. All right, let's go on to the next one. Fluctuate. Think of it like a roller coaster. Boo, up and down, up and down. And the best way to really give an example is the stock prices fluctuate daily, and they do. If you pay attention to the stock market, up and down, up and down. So Monday, they're fantastic. Tuesday, they're down. So they fluctuate up and down, up and down. So to really give the best explanation for fluctuate, think of it like a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. Fluctuate. All right. Imply. So this one is interesting. We are suggesting something, but we're not saying it directly. So, for example, his tone seemed to imply that he was not happy. So, even though he is saying, I am not happy, he's not saying that. The way he's saying it is implying it. So, I can also use it for like a facial expression. Back to the example with my mother when she conveyed to me through her squinty eyes that she was angry, I could also say, the look on my mother's face implied that I was in a lot of trouble. So my mother's not directly saying, Amanda, you're in trouble. The look on her face is implying that she is. She's conveying to me, I'm in trouble. So we can use this non-verbally or verbally when speaking, but we're not directly saying it. If you say to me, hey, Amanda, would you like to go get some coffee? And I go, yeah, sure. I'm implying I'm really not interested, even though I didn't say that directly, but the tone of my voice is, sure. Okay. Now, if I, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. I'm implying I'm excited. Let's go. So implying we're not directly saying it, but hey, you can kind of get what we mean from it. All right. Justify. to show or prove something is right or reasonable. She tried to justify her absence with the doctor's note. She wanted her boss to believe her. She said, "Hey, oh my gosh, I know I wasn't at work today, but I was sick. Here's my doctor's note." She's trying to justify. She is telling the truth. So maybe you've had a conversation with someone and you felt like, wow, I don't think they're believing me, but I know I am right. I've tried to convey that information to them and I just don't think they believe me. I'm going to go get the facts and I'm going to say, here, look at this. You see, I'm right. I am trying to justify what I'm saying. I have to prove that I'm right. So anytime you have to show or prove something is right or just reasonable, you want to justify it. All right. Notion, an idea, belief, or opinion. He had a strange notion about time travel. So basically, he's saying, I've got a strange idea or a belief or some sort of opinion about time travel. I could also say it was his notion that we go ahead and leave early on Friday since it's a 3-day weekend. I'm basically saying it's his belief. So instead of saying idea or belief or uh, opinion, we can say notion. Notion. So another word for that. Think of it like a synonym. And I love synonyms. So let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and briefly explain. That is another very important part of TOEFL. Synonym. Those are words that have either the same meaning or something very similar. So for example, I am awesome. That's another way of saying I am fantastic. I am amazing. So words that have similar meaning. It's a good idea to study synonyms, but one step at a time with TOEFL. That's with anything in life, not just the TOEFL examination. If you take too much on, you're hurting yourself in the long run. Take it step by step. I promise you, you'll remember a lot more. And if you take it step by step, it will also help build your English for your personal life as well. You'll find that, hey, I went to the movie theater. Wow, I didn't even need subtitles. So even if you have these big plans to take the TOEFL, it will truly help you with your personal life too. All right, enough rambling. Significant. Holy cow. This is another word for important or meaningful. There was a significant increase in sales last year. So there was something really important last year in sales. So I can also say, you might have heard this. This is popular to say in America, United States. This is my significant other, meaning this is my husband. This is her significant other. This is his significant other, meaning that's somebody that's very important to them. That's their husband or wife. So we can, instead of saying my husband, I can say my significant other. So that's another way to say husband or wife. And also means obviously something really, really important. Wow, if you really, really, really work hard and prepare yourself for the TOEFL, you will have some significant results, some very, very important results. I cannot convey that enough to you. It will be so beneficial for you. Look, I'm just throwing all those words that we're going over into one sentence. I love it. All right, let's go to the next one. Subsequent. Subsequent. For some reason, that's always hard for me to say. Subsequent. Coming after something in time, following. So, for example, subsequent events proved her prediction correct. So she made a prediction, and those events that happened proved her correct. There you go. I was thinking of that word karma. Have you ever heard that word karma, where karma comes around. If you do something bad will happen. Like if you treat people badly, karma will happen and people will treat you bad. Well, maybe that's kind of subsequent prediction. If you treat somebody bad, that's going to come around and come back to you. I was rambling on that one. But subsequent, coming after something in time. Those events that she said were going to happen were correct. Subsequent events proved her prediction correct. I predict if you treat people badly, you will also be treated badly. That's karma. Subsequent events of your behavior proved I was right. So treat people correctly. That's my lesson of the day. I hope that made sense. I know I was rambling. All right, let's get to the last one. Okay. Validate. We want to confirm or support the truth or value something. So, for example, the results validate the theory proposed by the researchers. So, it confirmed. We can say the results confirmed the theory. It supports the truth. Another way we can say this is I want to validate your feelings because I know you're very, very sad. So I want to confirm that I understand that you're sad. So anytime we want to support truth, we want to confirm something, we validate it. Maybe you hire somebody, you're a hiring manager at your job, and you get this CV from someone, wow, some excellent companies this person has worked for. Well, you have to validate that information. You have to make sure they really did work for those places. So you call up these companies and you ask, did Mary work there from 2020 to 2025? So you're confirming that. Somebody takes a big test like the TOEFL, your results have to be validated. They have to be confirmed. There you have it. So I know I did some rambling, some talking throughout this, but I hope this was helpful. And again, these are words that you will find on the TOEFL. These were a lot of words. I know it doesn't seem like it, but again, slow and steady wins the race. Start out slow, work on these words. I want you to practice them in conversation so you can use them yourself. I want you to practice writing them. That will be very beneficial to you. And obviously see where you can hear them. If you like to watch Netflix or maybe the evening news, see if you can pick up any of these words. And if you do, write them down. And then obviously, if you can, spend some time each night, write about a paragraph. I always say about 5 to 7 sentences, just a good paragraph. You don't want to write a novel. You don't want to write 10 pages because then you're not going to do it because it's going to be the end of the day. You're super tired. You want to go to bed and you're going to be like, I'm not doing this novel tonight. But if you know it's only 5 to 7 sentences, you're going to get it done because it's not that much. And what this does is this helps you get in the practice of writing. You're working on your grammar. You're practicing those vocabulary words because remember, grammar is a big part of the test. It's on the writing part. All right, so enough of that. I will post several videos and we'll just move from there over different tips and ways to study for this crazy